Hi, I'm Matt, here in Michigan.
And I'm Randall here in Texas. Today, Matt and I are looking at the latest from Pixar, which is currently streaming on Disney Plus, Luca. Luca has the voice talents of Jacob Tremblay, Jack Dylan Grazer, Emma Berman, Maya Rudolph, Jim Gaffigan, and Marco Baracelli. It was written and directed by Enrico Casarosa in his feature-length film debut. He also did a previous Pixar short, La Luna. But before we get too far into the review, make sure if you like this sort of thing, you give this video a like. If you want to see more, you subscribe and always ring that bell icon so you know when we're uploading new videos.
Luca takes place on the Italian Riviera as two sea monsters disguise themselves as humans in search of adventure and freedom to explore the world outside the ocean. Now, here in the US, it's only available for streaming on Disney Plus, as Randall mentioned, and it's the first Pixar film made almost completely at cruise homes due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Luca has received generally favorable reviews from both critics and audiences. Randall, this is the latest Pixar film we're reviewing. What do you think about Luca?
Luca is definitely a safe, by-the-books film. They didn't push any boundaries with it. They didn't do anything crazy with it. The themes are very obvious. And in my opinion, is probably the first Pixar film that is very genuinely targeted towards kids. Not tweens, not teenagers. It's definitely a real solid kids movie. Matt, you got a pretty soft spot for you in Pixar films, as we've noted in the past. What are your thoughts on Luca?
Well, I would say I do have some moments in this movie, like most Pixar films, where I get a little teary-eyed and stuff in this. But yeah, I agree with you. For me, this is a okay movie. I think this movie could have gone a little bit deeper, but didn't. It's still a solid outing by Pixar, but I agree, basically the story and the messages and stuff in this movie are pretty surface level and nothing too surprising with this film.
Yeah, it's not a Pixar film that was made with the intended audience of like teenagers and up. Like I see a lot of their previous stuff has been made, even if it's not intended for that audience. That's kind of the audience it skews towards. This one, with its very obvious like jealousy triangle going on between the friends and all of the be kind to people who are different to you messages that are in this film, it's very out there, it's very front and center. They're not trying to hide it, but that's fine because I think for what this intended audience age is, some of those themes are supposed to be very obvious. They're not supposed to be hidden and veiled behind anything too hard for that age group to actually understand.
Yeah, this movie's a big part of it. Friendship and adventure, I would say, individuality a little bit. But I think more, I'm trying to think exactly what the word I'm thinking about. So what would that be, Randall? What is that? You're kind of like trying to be on your
Self
own?
self reliance, resiliency.
There you go, stuff like that or whatever. It's all that stuff in this movie, and it does a pretty good job on that. It doesn't really, hide too much or whatever. And like I said, the friendship part, I think it does real well in this film too. The characters and stuff, I think, are pretty good. Honestly, probably the most memorable for me might actually be the cat.
I absolutely love the cat named Machiavelli. I'm like, that thing is awesome. It's one of the best ongoing gags in the movie. As you first time you see it, you're like, oh, that's funny, and then you see it again. The third time you see it, you're like, oh god, good, they're gonna keep doing it.
It was funny. I think the word I was looking for too, I think it might have been independence. A little bit going on independence. We get kind of like, mother-son relationship. Are parents maybe too overbearing or not? And kid wanting to go off and be independent and stuff and make decisions. That's a good element, I think, of this movie and stuff too. But yeah, this, going back on the cat and stuff, it brings some good laughs into it. Like, it's one of those movies that has good moments, I guess, again.
Yeah, the individual moments in this are definitely what the film's like strengths are, because again, the themes are so obvious. But it's those individual moments that I also felt maybe they took maybe a little bit from The Little Mermaid, a little bit too much early on. The sea monster collecting all of these human land items and everything. Like, okay, is that a homage or is that just like stealing?
was also thinking a little bit of another like underwater movie that we had before, and this one's actually by Pixar. I was thinking a little bit like Finding Nemo too, with kind of going on like off on their own, and Nemo's dad being like, you can't do this stuff on your own. It's too dangerous and stuff. I saw a little bit of that in this movie too. I don't know, maybe it's because it's too on the nose because it deals with underwater creatures going on land, but to me, I agree with you. Those two movies immediately flashed in my eyes. The Little Mermaid, like you said, the items falling down and stuff into the bottom of the ocean, and then Finding Nemo.
Any longtime viewer of our channel will know that I often use the fish out of water analogy. It's just I don't usually use it so literally.
This movie really does have a literal moment of, fish out of water near the beginning of the film. And I thought about that too. I'm like, wow, if you ever wanted to have a literal fish out of moment, this would be it.
I mean, and that's the thing, like, these two main characters are the stereotypical fish out of water characters. It just so happens that they're also fish. you know? So yeah, it's very obvious. It fits right in with like the themes being extremely obvious as well. So maybe that's what they were going for. Like everything in this film will be obvious. Maybe that's what Pixar said. It's a kids film, can't be complicated, obvious everything.
And in this movie too, our individual characters, they have each individual problems and stuff, or fears or whatever that they have to overcome. But really, I think it does better with the collective and stuff too. Love like building this friendship and stuff between our different characters and stuff, and them learning more about each other as the movie goes on. I think that's probably the part I think this movie probably does the best.
The characters in this are okay for me. They're not as strong as a lot of other Pixar films, in my opinion. They work well together. It's just that they have their very strict archetype that they're going to stick to for this one, because they don't want them to be super complicated or super deep characters. So for me, it's okay. Like we had mentioned earlier, it's the little individual spots in the film that add, the quirks that I like the most about this one. Not necessarily what's going on between the characters, because I actually thought that it's not really a love triangle, but like a jealousy triangle, character triangle was, oh, you're gonna go that route? Okay.
It's funny, when I was watching this, that was one of the parts I was actually happy. I was kind of giving it a little bit of pass. I'm like, well, at least they're not going the full like love triangle thing, because if that was the case with this film, which I think they could have, I would have been like, yeah, no, thank you. Don't really need that part in this film.
I did like the one like weird little fun joke near the beginning where, they're just as afraid of us as we are of them. It hits a lot of good spots. It is a good feel good movie. It is definitely a very good kids movie. So if some of the older, more adulty themes of some Pixar movies like Soul or Wall-E don't work for your kids, then this one is 100% safe.
Yeah, to me, this is a Pixar film that doesn't really stand out too much or whatever. And if you do end up watching Luca, since you're watching it on Disney Plus most likely, be sure to watch till like the end of the credits, because there is an end credit scene.
The very end credits. Get that sizzler in.
I won't necessarily tell you to skip the credits, because I don't want to recommend people skip the credits. There's good artwork and stuff in the credits too, but yeah, just be sure to stick around. Don't just tune out as soon as you get to the end of the movie.
Of course, Matt and I are always interested in knowing what you guys think of it. If you've seen the movie, if you think you're going to go see it, what your kids thought of it in particular, if you have their opinions. We have other new movie reviews. We have flashback movie reviews. We talk about TV series, and we have some deeper dive discussions. Make sure to go check out our YouTube page for some of those.
Also, be sure to check out our Facebook page. We keep you up to date on some things that are coming out on pop culture. We also post a day before our videos come out to let you know what is coming out the next day. Our movie reviews and TV reviews and all our reviews come out Monday and Thursday. For now, I'm Matt here in Michigan. Have a good day.
And I'm Randall here in Texas. See everyone next time.
Next time on No Market Media. Please consider checking out some of our other videos.